I must have done 100 shifts on those watchtowers. Never saw so much third-born blood under them.
Hot, isn't it? Welcome to Shatterscar. Or, welcome to Shark's Teeth, anyway. Damn. I didn't think you'd actually talk to someone like me. An envoy. Wow. Today really must be my lucky day. Listen, I've got to take some supplies to that tower up the road. They're for Kotoa and Hayako. Have you heard of them?
Kotoa and Hayako? If they need supplies, they must be planning something good.
They've probably killed more dream thralls than the rest of us combined. Well, they said, why shoot one when you could take out a dozen instead? Ah, right. These supplies will go a long way if I can ever get them up there. This is my third trip today, and whew, it's a lot of stairs. I'm not sure. I've only heard them talk about fighting dream thralls. There's a lot of work to do, though. I don't think they'd turn down help. Keep going through the teeth. The tower is just over the ridge. You can't miss it.
I used to patrol out here. Swore I'd never come back. Tama lost his badge near here.
Next one's mine!
I was just getting warmed up. That's Tama's badge. You found it. It really was out here all this time. Right where we left it. It sure is. It reminds me of old times. Long marches under the desert sun. Scouting runs through sandstorms so thick we had to tie our tunics over our mouths. Oh, he was an incredible bastard. Led the defense of Thirdborn, which meant he also led most of our patrols. He'd wake us up before dawn with the most off-key singing you've ever heard and a pot of burnt merc brew. He kept us marching until we had sand in every orifice you can think of, and a few you didn't know you had. Just when it felt like we were going to collapse, he'd call it and we'd make camp. And somehow, we'd all find the energy for a few rounds of cards or songs or stories. He did. About what? He's gone. Talking won't bring him back. Because I'm a glutton for punishment? Here's the truth. I led a patrol. We were ambushed. Tama came to our rescue. And he suffered a fatal wound in the process. He was the color of an eel's belly. The stubborn bastard made it all the way back to Thirdborn. We got him a sickbed, but we knew he didn't have long. I wish I could believe that. You ever had to watch someone fade away? When it's slow and agonizing, no glory, no din of battle, no distractions. Then you know. It's like sitting still while someone drags rusty nails over your skin. Sitting there, I noticed that he was missing his badge. And all the time I'd known him, I'd never seen him take it off. Cruel irony, isn't it? He comes to our rescue, and in the process, he loses the thing that marks him as a soldier. I'm sorry, Envoy. I haven't talked about this in a while. I never thought I'd tell this story again. But there's something about the way you've led us, the clarity you've kept. Something about you that inspires confidence. Kind of like well, just having his badge in hand means more than you know. There's just one last thing I've got to do. There's a memorial site with some cairns on the cliffs east of Thirdborn. One of those cairns is Tama's. It's time I said goodbye. That's kind of you to say. Thank you. Let's go.
Why can't the way forward in science ever be easy? Hello. I wasn't expecting to see anyone this far from Thirdborn. Are you... Your face! Your markings! They're positively magical. I had a terrible time trying to find a guide in Thirdborn who'd take me here. But meeting you makes it all worth it. You're right. I'm sorry. You have to admit, though, you are a prime specimen. I'm a mycologist, you see, and I'm working on a compendium of the different types of fungus in the living lands. Sure enough, what happens as soon as I show up? A fungus-based illness. There's a riot of data out here. Oh, always. Actually, since you're here, I'm having some trouble with the sporelings. I've devoted my whole life to my fungal friends. But I'm finding that the ambulatory ones aren't quite as, friendly. In fact, they're quite murderous. I'd normally be against harming them, but please kill the Sporlings before they kill me. Thank you. Wait, that means it's safe to go back to my experiments. I'll have to collect everything and... I am suddenly very busy. Pardon me.
That should suit her fine. Until the next Sporling comes along.
Nothing better than a breakthrough.
I still remember the first time I saw these dunes. In the heat haze, they looked just like waves. We make a good squad. Tama's memorial. Never thought anything could contain that man, you know? That booming laugh, that bottomless appetite, boundless energy. Now he's under a pile of rocks. Too bad that's the only part of him I know how to find. This is where you're supposed to distract me, lighten the mood with a wisecrack or something. Trying? I thought I was doing a pretty good job. There's something I didn't tell you about Tama's death. Remember how I noticed he'd lost his badge? I went out. I told him I was going to go find it. He told me to stay. I said I'd be right back. I walked away, Envoy, and I kept walking. You're right. I used to think it would fade over time, but guilt's like a fine wine. Now you know why I never went back to his house in Emerald Stair, why I never came back to Thirdborn. At least I'm in good company. The truth is, traveling with you and Marius, getting to know Giada and Yahtzee, it's felt easy. Too easy. Okay, not that part. But I've come to trust your way of handling those threats when we face them. You're clear-headed. You have your priorities in line. I find myself ready to follow you, and that worries me. I'm not a joiner. I'm good for a skirmish, some war stories, a few drinks, but I'm not someone you keep around. Better than the alternative. I let people down. I let them down when they're counting on me most. Self-compassion. That's a balm for outbursts and hangovers. I know what I am. I'm finally facing it. Except he's gone. There's no making it right. I gotta own that. What? No, I didn't. He died pulling my ass out of the fire, and I still let him face it alone. How can I remember him without remembering that? He'd tell me to pull my head out of the muck and look to what's ahead. That I messed up, but that's no reason to keep messing up. And he'd probably do it over a cup of his awful Merc brew. I never realized I'd let my failure change the way I remembered him. One of the things I loved about Tama was how he gave us all a fresh start. No matter where we'd come from or what we'd done. I drifted to Paradise, but never thought about where I'd go from this. Tom always talked about the places he hoped to see. The islands of Deadfire, the tundras of Nasitok, the ancient cities of Old Valia. Maybe I ought to see some of those places for us both. As a traveler, not a soldier. Once we've stopped the Dream Scourge and dealt with the Steel Garrote. It just feels right. I've got some things to sort out, but it feels good to have something to look forward to. Listen, thank you for visiting Tama's memorial with me. I didn't think I'd ever trust someone the way I trusted him, but both of you have a clarity of purpose I've never seen in anyone else. I'm happy to be proven wrong. I know. I'd forgotten what that feels like. Like I just woke up with a hangover. Every feeling, every memory I tried to keep a lid on is sloshing around, and I'm struggling to keep my balance. But I'm also remembering moments I hadn't let myself think on in a long time. Feeling warmth I couldn't get close to. It's a process.
We think of grief as a burden, as something to be conquered. After a while, it gets to be so familiar, it's almost a source of comfort.
I wish this were another burden to conquer. That would feel easier. It's hard to imagine grief ever being a comfort, but I'll have to take your word for it.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Thanks. I'll get there. And thank you for seeing this through with me. Was there something else? I'll be here if you need me.
Thank you for telling us about Tama. For what it's worth, I don't think less of you. Dealing with grief, it's never easy.
I've lost people before. You're right. The grief is never easy. What I didn't know how to deal with was the shame, knowing I'd failed them.
We never fail those who love us. But our conscience tells us otherwise. Does anyone have a copy of the Theorems of Pangram? I want to try something.
I wish I could help, sweetheart. But the only copy I know of was lost somewhere in the Deerwood.
Too bad. I've been looking into necromancy, just in case the envoy drops dead again.
You don't think Sapadal will work their tricks?
Perhaps, but it's good to have a contingency plan.
Right. Necromancy is your plan?
You have a better one?
Nope. Necromancy it is then, I guess.
Perfect! I've been itching for an excuse to try my hand at necromancy.
Hope those dreams aren't keeping you up. Then Yeah, it happens. Sharing the road and sharing each other's battles. But out of all the people I've fought alongside, I haven't gotten to know many of them as well as you. You always know what to do. It's like you've got an internal compass guiding you. Not many people have such a clear sense of direction, especially in situations as complicated as these. I never thought I'd feel this at ease again with anyone else, much less myself. But you helped me face loss, regret. After drifting for a long time, I finally feel like I belong again. Thanks. I feel the same. You... Oh. Wow. I feel like an idiot. More than usual, I mean. Sorry, I just need a minute to get all of this through my thick skull. For the longest, I never thought I'd be able to feel close to someone again after Tama. But don't get me wrong, I've been with plenty of other people since then. It's just never been more than a quick bit of fun. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this. I'm staring into the rocks, aren't I? Yeah, sorry. What I'm trying to say is, I didn't think I'd be able to feel this again. But you've seen me at my worst. I've told you things I never admitted to anyone else, even Tama. And if you want to be with me after everything you've seen, and if you still feel that way once we've finished our journey, I want that too. Holler if you need anything else.
There's my favorite Adiran. We've been traveling together for a little while. I just have to know. Did you purposefully choose such colorful company, or is that just what you attract naturally? I mean, I'm very clearly a delight, so it's obvious why you let me stick around. But Kai's hiding a lot behind that humor of his, isn't he? Thinking that that could be Quilici in me is... not something I want to think about. And Marius... I don't know what's lurking in him, but I do think he should speak to someone on it. If he reaches out, do try, will you? As for Giada, well, clearly Giada is a gem. As for me, well, I'm just as riveting as you, but the boys are giving me a run for my money. Someone needs to keep our wit razor sharp, so I think we should keep him a while longer. You do strike me as a people person. Tell me, do you get along with all you meet? So, you'll be swarmed by well-wishers then, upon arriving home? And some very angry spouses, I imagine. And here I thought I had a wild youth exploring ruins. You might be putting me to shame, dearie. Why do you think Quilici and I went to Naku Tedek in the first place? Of course, other lovers were less willing. Something about them being gross and terrifying. I just think it adds to the excitement. Well, you've satisfied my curiosity. I'll leave you alone to do whatever envoys do.
Need a break from the dream scourge? If I must.
I need to go hunting. I hope you like roasted snake. Right. What do you need? Let's see. It gets cold out here at night. I always make a fire in camp, and no matter how hot it is during the day, I always keep a blanket. I like to camp on a hill or plateau if I can, because even the slightest bit of rain can cause a flash flood. You'd be surprised how many people drown in Shatterscarp. Nothing's prepared for rain out here, especially the land itself. Though if you don't drown, your water problems are pretty much solved, so there you go. Right, changing the subject. Thanks for talking.
Being here brings back memories. Take the sand out of your bedroll before you settle in.